So back at Glen here at the distribution center, and the malt we're looking at today is a beautiful bag of Cara Blond. Being the oldest malting plant in Belgium means we make a lot of different kinds of malt, which is fantastic for making award-winning beers. However, sometimes brewers still have a hard time understanding how they are to be used. Don't worry, we've got you covered. In this series we show you how to use each and every single one of all of our malts. Hi, today's video is all about Château Cara Blond, a malt with a flavor characteristics, think of light brown sugar. Totally delicious. Today's video focuses on how it's made and what its uses are. And if we can give you any advice, that's what we're here for. So let's check it out. Cara Blond starts off as green malt that is then sent to our roaster for caramelization at up to 220 degrees Celsius, or when the malter has achieved that soft caramel and flavors reminiscent of light brown sugar.
The Cara Blond is something we would use if we want to enhance the balance with the full body of the beer. So it's going to bring you some mildness, some round feeling, some mouthfeel, without bringing you so much color, well, almost no color actually to the beer. So you can make a pale beer which can still have some really full palate. And by the way, which is a good point, it also enhances foam stability, which is obviously a good point for a beer.
Belgian beers. Belgian Blond Ale. As a style that relies heavily on Pilsner malt and yeast character, using amounts in the region of between 10 and 15% of Cara Blond really helps to prop up the malt profile and body of these beers. Belgian Witbier. Especially if you are using raw wheat to brew the style of beer, the light, sugary notes offer delightful complexity when added to the flavors of citrus and wheat present. Considering the broad aspects of this style of beer, usage between 5 and 20% of the malt bill are good, using less when you are using more malted wheat in the recipe. British beers. British Golden Ale. Even though this is a very much hop-forward style of beer, it frequently has adjuncts like sugar and corn added. In these cases, the overall profile of the beer does well with small amounts of between 3 to 8% to help round out the malt profile. Foreign Extra Stout. While light malts are not what you would expect in a beer of this style, Cara Blond has enough malt character to really add to this style of beer, especially considering that sugar is added to bolster alcohol content. The dextrins help add a decent head of foam. Use 15 to 20%. Braggot. A mix of mead and ale, Braggot is usually a balancing act of the floral honey flavors with a malty body. Adding up to 30% of this malt will balance out the honey and still give you a good creamy head and mouthfeel to boot. German beers. Alcohol-free lager. Two aspects make this somewhat challenging beer to make. For one, the fact that having an alcohol-free or low alcohol content is usually achieved by decreasing fermentability, as well as the fact that you need a beer where the malt profile is not cloying. Cara Blond shines here as well. Feel free to add up to 30% of the mix. Kölsch. While certainly not a traditional ingredient in this style of beer, it is worth noting that Cara Blond pairs exceptionally well with fruit flavors. Whether those are actual fruit or simply perceived fruit character from the yeast, the fact still stands. Usage should not be more than 10%. American beers. Milkshake or New England IPA. As previously noted, that light sugary, soft malt complexity of this malt is almost unbeaten in fruit-based ales, or even ales that simply taste like fruit, as in the case of American hops. 10 to 15% of the grist is perfect for either of these styles. American lager. It is a simple step to turn a beer that is known for lack of flavor into one that can be brewed and enjoyed in any setting. That step is 10 to 15% of this malt, as it has enough malt complexity to add to the beer while still retaining drinkability.